In 1924, near Toba Inlet in British Columbia, Canada, a prospector by the name of Albert Ostman was camping alone. He said there had been signs from the previous night's sleeps that something or someone had been visiting his campsite while he slept. He decided to try and stay awake to catch the visitor in the act. However, his attempt to stay awake was in vain. He fell asleep, and when he did, he was scooped up by a strange, large, hairy humanoid while he was still in his sleeping bag. For 3 hours he was carried until he was put down in front of a family of 4 Sasquatch, the male being about 8 feet tall.
They look like a family: old man, old lady, and 2 young ones, a boy and a girl. The boy and the girl seemed to be scared of me. The old lady did not seem too pleased about what the old man dragged home, but the old man was waving his arms and telling them all what he had in mind. They all left me then.
Ostman had a gun on him. However, because the Sasquatch seemed to not make any threatening moves on him, he says he chose not to use it, but kept it nearby just in case things changed. Ostman claims that the Sasquatch kept him captive, feeding him sweet-tasting grass, which the female washed and sorted before feeding him. He did make attempts to befriend the young male Sasquatch in order to get the larger male interested in the snuff he had. He wanted to make the adult male eat an entire box of snuff, killing him so that he could make an escape. He also entertained a brief idea to take the young female with him when he got away, although then thought better of it. After 6 days he made his escape. Getting the large male to eat some of the snuff, the large male got groggy enough that he was able to take off and make his way into the woods, eventually finding a logger, telling the logger,
I told them I was a prospector and was lost. I did not like to tell them I had been kidnapped by a Sasquatch, as if I had told them, they would probably have said, he is crazy too.
When he returned to the world, he held on to the story until 1957, and it wasn't until then, after seeing other Sasquatch stories in the media, that he decided to tell his story to a newspaper. Of course, this immediately seems suspicious and puts his account into question about the validity of this story. The very next year, in 1958, the term Bigfoot became popularized. Now, the history of Bigfoot is a fascinating topic that has intrigued many people for decades. Bigfoot is a name given to a large, hairy, human-like creature that is said to inhabit the forests of North America, especially in the Pacific Northwest. However, the legend of Bigfoot has roots in various cultures and regions around the world, and is not a modern invention. One of the earliest sources of the Bigfoot legend is the indigenous cultures of North America, who have different names and stories for the creature. For example, the Salis First Nation in Western Canada call it Saskets, which means wild man or hairy man. Some tribes view Bigfoot as a brother, a friend, or a protector, while others fear it as a monster, a cannibal, or a trickster. Some also believe that Bigfoot has supernatural powers, such as the ability to turn invisible or communicate telepathically. The term Bigfoot itself was popularized by a newspaper article in 1958, which reported on a letter from a reader who claimed that loggers in Northern California had found mysterious, large footprints at a construction site. The journalist who wrote the article, Andrew Gonzoli, joked that maybe they had a relative of the abominable snowman of the Himalayas. He also used the name Bigfoot that the loggers had given the creature. The story captured the public's imagination and sparked a wave of interest and curiosity about Bigfoot. Since then, many people have claimed to have seen, heard, or found evidence of Bigfoot's existence, such as photographs, videos, audio recordings, hair samples, and casts of footprints. However, most of these claims have been debunked or disputed by scientists and skeptics who argue that Bigfoot is nothing more than a myth, a hoax, or a misidentification of other animals or natural phenomena. There is no conclusive proof that Bigfoot exists as a living animal, Nevertheless, Bigfoot remains an enduring element of popular culture and an icon of cryptozoology, the study of hidden or unknown animals. Bigfoot has been featured in many books, movies, TV shows, games, and songs, often with different portrayals and interpretations. Some depict Bigfoot as a savage beast that attacks humans or other animals, while others show it as a gentle giant that befriends humans or helps them in some way. Some also use Bigfoot as a symbol of environmentalism and wilderness preservation, or as a metaphor for human nature and identity. But what are some of the best evidence that we have? We have a couple hair samples that have been found and tested, with the best results for Bigfoot enthusiasts coming back as ambiguous. Endless footprints and footprint castings that are far, far too easy to fake. And a plethora of video footage, again, like most things in these types of spaces, a lot of fakes, by people looking for views and clicks to start their online careers. Now, a couple stand out, and one of them is the Provo Canyon Bigfoot. In Utah 2012, a couple of siblings went out hiking. They were filming what they thought was a bear. It wasn't until the bear stood up on two legs that it appeared to them to be something else. They immediately took off in the other direction. Now, bears can stand up on its hind legs, and they do it often. This video, in my opinion, seems fake, and I would show you the video, but the 48-second clip is on YouTube, and they openly admit that they will copyright claim any usage without consent. And the comments are disabled. So take that how you will. The most famous, of course, is the Patterson-Gimlin film. Recently, people have stabilized the video. You can now see the creature in more detail and a smoother movement, and people have been trying to debunk this for decades. It has been many times over, but has had some scientific authorities claiming it could be real. Jeffrey Meldrum, a professor of anatomy and anthropology at Idaho State University, said that the creature's walk correlates to our ape-like ancestors' human-like gait, saying,
"What you see on that film is exactly how we envisioned something like a robust Australopithecine to look. It's almost as if now the science has finally caught up to this whole phenomenon of Bigfoot."
He also states that the anatomical features in the film line up to the proportions of the faces of early humans, such as Paranthropobosai from around 2.3 million to 1.2 million years ago. But of course, most experts do not share in this assessment. They usually suggest it was just a really good hoax. To me, this was one of the most compelling video evidence of a possible Sasquatch. But of course, the skiers filming this in the Squamish, British Columbia area didn't go ski down, try and get closer, or go investigate, so we're left with just this footage. And now, with all honesty, Bigfoot was never a big fascination for me. It's one of the areas of the strange and weird that never really took hold on me. I've spent most of my life in the Pacific Northwest as well, and I would say at best I had a mild interest. I often figured, yeah, it's possible a small amount of undiscovered ape-like species could exist in the deep forests of the Pacific Northwest. The forests are dense and cover a lot of area. To me, that wouldn't be such a big deal to discover something. Would it be cool? Yeah, it would be. But would it be a game changer? Not really. We discover some species even today. So I'm not totally sure what the fascination is. I gather because of its inference that it's a human-like and has at least some semblance of a more human-like societal structure. Though being that of early hominids rather than more modern humans. But that of course is all conjecture, all attributes that are given to people who supposedly have come across these entities, and yet fail to give compelling evidence, photographic, video, or physical. What we get instead are countless people going into the woods to film videos of them making weird Sasquatch mating calls, trying to lure a Sasquatch to them. Then we get some odd-looking videos of what can easily be a man in a suit, in behind some trees. We get some weird structures being made out of branches in smaller trees, all which are claimed to be that of the Bigfoot. Tales become established lore. and then the lower becomes the Bible that all Bigfoot enthusiasts go by. And then there becomes this weird pseudo-structure of what Sasquatches are really are, and how they really behave, all while having no evidence outside of old indigenous tales, and more modern tales that do garner a lot of marketing and money and attention. Now, I didn't want to cover the Bigfoot topic because I think it's even more full of the woo-woo than the alien topic. I mean, at least with the aliens we have some semblance of credible witnesses and government secrecy to make sure that the too woo-woo of aliens doesn't completely take over. But with Bigfoot, we don't have any of that. I'm not here to put down anyone who's into this topic either. I do think it would be fascinating if Sasquatch was real, and that we did discover it. To figure out exactly what it is and how it evolved would be fascinating. But for me, it's fascinating in the level as if we discovered another type of crocodile. Cool, yes. Change the paradigm? Not really. But mostly I'm turned off by all the industry of it. It makes me very wary to go into it because there's hours and hours of talk, footage, and speculation with nothing to go on, except some weird animal sounds and strange markings on trees. While the part of me that loves solving mysteries, if the trail stops somewhere, then the case goes cold. And that's where I believe we are with the Sasquatch. The cases went cold. Until we get some relevant and significant new leads, there's nothing really there. If we rely on the indigenous stories, then we're left to wonder if these are just the giants they referred to. Is Sasquatch just a hairy giant that lived off the known tribes back in the day, and some of the more darker attributes to them became the Sasquatch? Or is the Sasquatch a spirit that can take physical form from time to time, something that exists on a different plane of existence, only seen by those that are able to? I would say the latter two are more likely than a fairly sentient ape-like being that hides deep in the woods, making strange sounds around humans and never being seen. But I could be wrong about all of it. And that's the thing. Again, with these topics, it all depends on what you want to believe in. Okay, now it's time to tell me what you think. Is Bigfoot real? Or has it just become an industry to make money? Let me know in the comments below. Please like, share, and subscribe. It really helps out a small channel like this. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll talk to you next time.